Imagine what it'll be like to turn into a light body and to move into 5D Earth. Namaste, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across the planet, around the world. My name is Gregg Prescott from in5d.com, and today's subject is 5D Earth, the new Earth, whatever you want to call it. And it's pretty exciting because many of us have seen what the new Earth will be like. We've felt it. And we'll be getting into that and a lot more. First thing I want to do, though, obviously, while people are joining us, I'm going to show you something I shared on in 5D. Well, here's the link for tonight's show. So you can always find the show here on my Facebook page, as well as, oh, shoot, I forgot to put it on Patreon and Twitter. I was just so busy. Sorry, Patreon and Twitter people. Love you. Sorry. But hopefully they follow me here as well and they're able to join in. But here's something. I had a woman that I posted these shirts. These are the latest shirts that I made on in5d.net for my tie-dye shop there. I got a comment. Hey, Greg, I so loved the tank tops I bought. Oops. Blocked myself. I bought from you that I had to come back for more. Thanks for the great vibes. And that was from Rebecca. And I thank you, Rebecca. I've got everything packaged up right now. I've got others that are going out as well. Send them out first thing in the morning. But I just thought it was so cool for her to mention that. And she went on to say, besides awesome wares, you have incredible customer service. Thank you so very much. And thank you. I appreciate that. And the truth is, I'm as equally excited for her and for anyone who orders them to receive them. This is what I was talking about before too. It's so easy to hit like, but it's equally as easy to hit the love. You know, when you make a comment on Facebook, spread the love, put the love out there. It's easy to put like. We need more love, okay? So anyway, you can find those shirts and many more, like the one I'm wearing right now, on in5d.net. So I'll be uploading more tomorrow as well. I just got a new batch that I was working on. So check those out. I also want to encourage you to check out our Patreon page. And you can see here, you know, different levels. You get notified generally, except today, I forgot to do it, but bad me. But generally I will give you a heads up and you will be able to watch the videos there at the 111 level for 555. Excuse me. Everybody's name gets mentioned on the Patreon wall of eternal gratitude, but at the 555 level, you also get ad-free articles and the Insiders Club private chat, which I do on the first Wednesday of every month. This Wednesday, the 5th of February, our topic is the untouchables. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. For 11/11, you get the exclusive Afterthoughts video, which I just released yesterday, plus the exclusive mid-month energy report that I do every month, on top of everything else from the previous tier. So thank you for everyone who has joined me on that. So I just got to say that I felt incredibly unproductive today. I don't know how else to say it, but yeah, that's how I felt. Incredibly unproductive. I ended up taking a nap. It was a late nap. I think I took a nap around 4 o'clock. I fell asleep watching one of the Beatles anthology series. It was the third one in the series of, I think, 5 or 6 videos. I fell asleep immediately and I woke up as the video was just about ending. So I slept for about an hour and 10 minutes. And I woke up and I thought, God, okay, so in my life review, I'm going to look at this day and think I did nothing. You know, I went to a post office earlier today and I mailed off shirts I posted articles and shared them on various social media sites. And outside of that, I didn't really do anything. I mean, sometimes we need that just to unwind and, just forget about everything. But I really didn't do anything. So eventually I got tired. The energies, there's something going on. As a matter of fact, I wanted to point that out too. Let's go to a screen share on that. So I was just checking that out. And as you can see right here, let me do a refresh. It's going to be about the same though. Yeah. We can see it looks like there's a new whiteout coming in. So, maybe that some of us see and feel things before they happen. I'm definitely one of those people that see things before they happen. Maybe I was feeling something before it happened too. This wave that's coming in right now. But yeah, it just, whatever it was, it knocked my butt out. And yeah, I ended up having to take a nap. I want to give a quick shout out to everyone that's in YouTube that's joining us right now. And here's a link for Zoom. If you want to join us here, I'll be opening up the lines here at the end of all the stuff I'm going to be covering. But if you want to jump in, you're always more than welcome to here on Zoom. And quick shout out to Imelda, Melissa, Thomas, Karen, Debbie, Gary, Melissa, Mary, Terry. Have a laugh. Ascended Dreamweaver, and everyone else has joined us. Namaste. Thank you for joining us here on such quick and short notice. I didn't really give a lot of heads up, maybe about half an hour or so. This is what I sometimes do. Usually, if I give a good heads up, it'll be an hour. A short one, 15 minutes. Sometimes I don't even give a heads up. Sometimes I just pop on here and there's stuff that has to come out. That's what it is. And a quick shout out to those who are joining me here right now on Zoom, Rob and Willow. Thank you. So what I do is people can come here on Zoom early. And what I do is I play like Dolores Cannon videos. And I had a Dolores Cannon video on that I was playing. And the title of it was called Alternate Realities, Time, and the New Earth. So if you get to Zoom early, you're going to find something informing and interesting to listen to while you're waiting. And that could happen while, people can get here before me. There's a waiting room and you can just hang out. But eventually I will get here and I will put on something metaphysical before we start the show here. So what else? I think that's about it for what I wanted to cover before we get moving. So if you guys are ready, let's do it. Let's jump into the new earth material. Let's go to new earth material. I like how I say that. That's play on words. Okay. So anyway, we got those energies coming right there. So the first thing, this article is so cool. I've brought it up before, and it's called Moving into 5D, Hidden in Plain Sight. And it's based on a Star Trek episode called Transfigurations. So in that episode, the following Star Trek clip shows a race of beings on the verge of transcending their current form into light bodies, but the ruling elite were desperately trying to keep them under subservience, control, and conformity. Sounds a lot like what is going on our planet for the last 50, 60 years or longer. But so this is the point of where I'm going to mute that. I'm just going to play the clip. Hopefully the sound won't come out, but this is the point of where he turns into the light body. So check this out. This is us. This is what could be happening to us. Now that's the ruling elite who was telling the Star Trek crew to kill this guy, the light being, because he was intimidated and afraid of him. But the light body's saying there's nothing to fear, but yet he's still living in fear. But this is us. This is where we're heading. It's a beautiful, beautiful episode. And as I mentioned, you can find that particular clip on M5D. And as always, I'll be putting the links below in the more info section for all the articles that I talk about. But as the article goes on to say, look around you. The ruling elite are poisoning our water, air, and food supplies. The fluoridation of our water has led to the calcification of our pineal glands, which in past history were much larger than they are now. As many of you know, the pineal gland is called your third eye and is the window to your soul and your true divine reason for being here. So, in part of the transcript, this is what was said. The guy that was turning into a light body, let me go to a screen share on that part so you guys can read along with me. So he ended up saying, my species is on the verge of a wondrous evolutionary change, a transmutation beyond our physical being. I am the first of my kind to approach this metamorphosis. They tried to convince us it was a sickness we would never survive, that the pain and energy pulses would kill us. They claimed we were dangerous, so they destroyed anyone who exhibited the signs of transfiguration. And that's what the ruling elite, they saw the mutations as a threat to their authority. But as it turned out, others will listen. And now you can no longer prevent me from telling the truth. Those who are willing will follow me. That's where we're heading. That's the beautiful light body. And when we turn into that light body, we'll recognize each other from our energy signatures that each one of us has. You can be born at the same exact millisecond as somebody else, micromillisecond as somebody else. But because of your geographic location, that's all part of your energy output of who you are. That's your imprint on. That's how we will recognize one another, because of our energy signatures that each one of us has, and each one is uniquely different from one another, like snowflakes. We are individuals, and even when you're in that energy type body, you'll be recognizable. We will recognize each other. So there's another article, of course, that you can find on In5D that I'll be referring to. And this one's called 5D Earth. Will some people get left behind? And here I'll be just reading from some excerpts from Dolores Cannon. And the book is from the Convoluted Universe series. And this one's in particular is volume 2. I have the whole series. It's fantastic. I highly recommend any Dolores Cannon books, but especially the Convoluted Universe. So let me screen share this one too, so you can read along with me. So I've been getting so much information from different people. The D is obviously Dolores, from different people, and they say that the Earth is undergoing a transition. They say it will be like a raising into another changing vibration. And this is her subject, who that Dolores refers to, was speaking back to her about. The whole idea is we have to get people to expand just a little bit. And we have to get this level raised just a little bit. And when we do, we can make that change and make it easier for them. It will be the ones that we can't get to that change that are going to be left behind. It's going to be horrible. We can't get them to see. We can't get them to love. So they're talking about, those who will get left behind. And we've heard about that, with various numbers like the 51%, which we'll talk about shortly. So Dolores asks, then the others, the ones that will change, will go into another world, another earth. It's like going to expand into another dimension. Let me see if I can explain this to you. It's like a raising, if you can understand, like we're going to raise into a different vibration. We'll be able to see what's going on. We can't stop them. We can't help them anymore. We were talking about this in one of our chats about people getting left behind, and if you do make it to the next dimension, the next level of spiritual progression, will you be able to come back and help people? I've kind of intuited no, you wouldn't be able to. And as much as I wish we could, I don't think it's possible. Dolores is also inferring the same thing, that those who are ready, and those who aren't, well, you know what? This opportunity will come around again. It might be another 26,000 years, and that's okay. Because what is time? On the other side of the veil, it's a blink of the eye. Like what we were talking about, Susan Walter, when I had that interview with her, and she was talking about the angels. The angels who have never incarnated here have no concept of time. Time is non-existent. If you said a week to them, how would they know of what a week is? How could they refer a week to anything if they've never experienced it, right? So, continuing. Is it like a separation, like two earths? Is that what you mean? Oh, no. It's a changing of dimension. We're going to go from here to here, and those that can't change will be left behind. When we go into other dimensions, will it be a physical earth? It will be just like we are right now. That's what I meant by two earths. Yes. But they're not going to be aware of us. God help them. God help them. It's going to be so terrible for them. They won't know what happened. No, they will. That's the whole idea. They will know, but it's too late. But you said they'd be left behind and they can't join the others. Will all of the people of Earth experience this? As I said before, everyone will be affected. It's just that there are those who will be so sensitive. I'm sorry, there will be those who will be sensitive, who will pick up that it has been done. Some people will not realize on a conscious level that it's been done. It's been done on a soul level. If you were to put them in a trance, as you have this person now, they would know that they have been affected, and they could explain to you what it has done to their genetics. But on a conscious level, they haven't a clue. They don't know, and that's what we want. So what's happening is many of us have already picked up on this. As I mentioned, I had that vision of the event, and I'll just give it quickly. Many of you have already heard this, but there are people that are tuning in right now for the first time that haven't heard this. And this is for you in particular. So I had this vision of, I was actually saw myself standing in front of myself and from behind. And in the blink of an eye, what happens is this white light floods the earth. And when this happens, you're going to feel this love to a magnitude that you've never felt before. The best example I can give is that to envision the person or people that you love the most, magnify that love by 1,000,000, at least 1,000,000. And I'm probably underestimating that number. That person for me is my daughter. As much as I love her, the love you're going to feel when this happens is 1,000,000 times more than any kind of love you could feel on this planet. When you feel that, money, government, religion, none of that crap matters. Doesn't matter who your favorite team is or what your favorite program is. None of this third dimensional BS matters. You're just bathing in that love, and it's amazing. So that's what we can expect, and others have said the same thing. as I've mentioned, I had a beach meetup one time with a group of people, and there was a nurse there, and she had a past life, a near-death experience. And during her near-death experience, she was shown the same exact thing that I'm telling you guys right now. She had that same experience where on the other side of the veil, she was shown that this is the love that you're going to feel. And she said, when I explained it, a million times more than any kind of love that you can feel on this third dimensional reality. She said, that's exactly it. She said she couldn't phrase it any better than that. And that's what we're going to be feeling. So moving on, and this is from another article on N5D. It's called Dolores Cannon Comments About the New Earth. Let me screen share that real quick. So on what we're experiencing right now, they, which is who Dolores Cannon refers to when they come in through her subjects, they said that we will notice the physical effects more as the frequencies and vibrations increase. Many of us can sense on another level of our being that something is happening. With these changes subtly going on around us, our physical bodies must also change in order to adjust. Some of these physical symptoms are unpleasant and cause concern. You will see and notice that as the frequency of this planet continues to raise in terms of its vibration, you will have less difficulty with the symptoms of energy blockages. Now,
you're gonna have to step up your game there, Bucko.
I know.
hang on, I gotta do some muting here. There we go. Okay. I will open up the lines here in a second, though. So yeah, what we had were symptoms of energy blockages, and you will see notices as the frequencies change. There's an article on N5D. Hang on.
I'll be here.
Okay.
There we go. There's an article that by Rosie Neal, what's happening to my body right now. And, you know, she talks about the bifurcation, which we'll get into shortly. But this is what I wanted to point out right here, where Rosie wrote, we are in fact moving from silicon to crystalline on a cellular structure. Many of you will be able to take pictures and see it in your skin. Even pictures that were taken some months ago have completely changed to a brand new level of light integration. And here's from another article. This one's from Rosie as well. 15 energetic things you may experience as your body is being upgraded. I'll get to this article in a minute. But these are some pictures that Rosie took about what you can see, the light coming out from the pores of the skin. This is just one of many examples that her and I have both experienced. But we will get to this article in a minute. Let's get back to this. So this is on the importance of what we eat and drink, according to Dolores Cannon, her comments about the new earth. This was also one of the topics that we had spoken about. Here we are, that we had spoken about on a previous N5D chat, spirit chat. But throughout my work, my subjects are being told that they must change their diet in order to make the adjustment into the new world. Our bodies must become lighter, and this means elimination of heavy foods. During the sessions, my clients are warned repeatedly to stop eating meats, mainly because of the additives and chemicals that are being fed to the animals. These are being transferred to our bodies and remain deposited in our organs for a long time. it is very difficult to eliminate these toxins from our body. This is one of the reasons why I've been juicing as well. I started juicing at the beginning of the month. And one of the things that I was just notified about the whole juicing process is that it helps to eliminate when you drink celery juice the first thing in the morning. It pulls a lot of toxins out of your body. So just one of the things that I've been doing to keep myself healthy, and it just happens to coincide with what Dolores is talking about. We were especially cautioned against eating animal protein and fried foods, which act as an irritant to the body. These act as aggravators to your system after many years of misuse. We do not mean to be judgmental, but the body is built for a certain type of vehicular traffic. The body cannot ascend in frequency to higher dimensional realms if the density and the toxins are polluting the environment of the human body. Now, once again, I think maybe this might have been one of the reasons why I had to have that heart attack back in September of last year, because it changed my lifestyle completely. I stopped smoking, toxins, addiction. I changed my lifestyle around. I rarely ever eat meat now, which I used to eat meat every day. I used to eat a lot of eggs. I did a lot of milk. I'm not going to say that I'm never going to eat meat again. Yeah, I've had tuna, I've had chicken, uh, one of each since the beginning of the month, and some pizza. Did that one time. Uh, I'm not going to say I'll never have another drink of alcohol. I probably will. I might have a drink during the Super Bowl. Who knows? Um, but if I never did that again, I wouldn't miss it, honestly. Or smoking, I would never miss that. Yeah, I do kind of miss it, but I don't have that urge to smoke anymore. So it's part of the body purification process that I think I was almost forced into. And that was universe saying, well, we're not going to kill you with this heart attack, but we are going to give you a warning. Change your ways so you can keep this message going here in 5D and keep our family together and growing. So let's get back to that article. We were told to avoid beef and pork, especially pork, because of the additives that are fed to the animals. Of course, if you are lucky enough to find organic meats and do not contain toxins, that would be safe in moderation. They said chicken was better and fish, but the best of all was live vegetables. This means those that are eaten raw rather than cooked. We were also cautioned about the elimination of sugar and the consumption of more pure bottled water. It's interesting that they would say bottled. I'd imagine she means BPA free bottled water or bottled in a glass. But bottled water and fruit juices that contain no sugar, which is interesting because that's what I've been doing too, juicing my own juice now too. So yay. Eventually, as the frequency and vibration continues to increase, we will adapt to a liquid diet. I would think we would adapt to a prana diet, a diet of where we just absorb sunlight, photons. The body must become lighter in order to make the ascension. As the energies on the planet continue to become heightened and more rarefied, your body needs to shift with it. Of course, none of this is new. We have been told for many years about these facts of nutrition, but it seems to be necessary now to pay extra attention to our diet as everything is beginning to change. In 2001, they stepped in to drastically get my attention, Dolores Cannon's attention, and caused me to change my diet and lifestyle. During the sessions, they would literally yell at me to get their message across. In 2001, I had problems with dehydration while in Florida. Florida, yay, where I am, and was experiencing unpleasant physical effects. They reprimanded me and made me give up my standard drink, Pepsi, which I had indulged in for many years. And while she's saying that, I'm going to have some water right now. Join me. Yummy. So Dolores ended up changing her uh, eating habits and lifestyle as well. Um, she also mentions how to energize your water, and this is something that I mentioned as well on how to change your DNA. And I do this with this sigil glass that I have that is just you when you look at it, you can't really tell what it is or what it says, but what it means is all my codons are open. And when I put ozone into the water, there's a round ball diffuser that I spin around clockwise, and I'll say all of my codons are open clockwise. Then I'll reverse it and go counterclockwise, but I'll also reverse what I'm saying. So all of my codons are open. Reverse would be Nepo era Snodak Yimphila. So Dolores talks about the importance of how to energize your water. I was then given a process to energize the water we drank to help in the detoxification process. So if you're looking to detoxify yourself, this is a quick and easy way to do it. Water, in the basis of 70% of yourself and 70% of the planet, is so far beyond importance, it is unbelievable. So, therefore, the resonance of the water you bring into your body is so very important. When you drink water, energize it with the knowledge you have. And we've talked about this recently as well with the works of Dr. Masaru Emoto with water and intentions. When you put that intention into the water, it changes the chemical structure of the water. Send that knowledge, spiral it in. Imagine the water spiraling, creating a vortex in a both clockwise and anti-counterclockwise direction, which is exactly what I was doing and still do with the ozone water, spinning it one way, putting the thoughts and intentions, all my codons are open, but then reversing it the other way, Nepo era Snodak Yimphila. Imagine an energy entering the water and spiraling, creating a vortex. That is all it has to do. The thought will energize the water. That will then reintroduce life force back into the water, which is the life force of acceptance on the planet. All fluid on the planet, whether it is rock or whether it is fluid liquid, is liquid in a slower or faster motion. Everything has the resonance and memory of what it is. So it's pretty exciting to see all this information coming together in something that we can all understand. And I've got a lot more to cover. But as I mentioned, I will be opening up the chat room here in a little while. Once I get over this information, I'd like to hear everyone's opinions on, what do you think is 5D Earth? Are we heading in that direction? And has any of this material helped you, or is there any material that you disagreed with, or anything additional that you'd like to add? So keep all that stuff in mind, and we're going to continue moving on with Dolores Cannon. If you can't tell, I'm a huge Dolores Cannon fan. I love Dolores's work, as do many of us in this genre. On the changing frequencies, our bodies and everything around us are now increasing their vibratory rate and adjusting to a new frequency. Well, isn't that what we are witnessing with the Schumann resonance? Hang on, let's go back there. Let's take a quick peek right there, hopefully, because I'm curious what we saw. It looks like the beginning of perhaps a whiteout. Of course, it could be just something simple. Yeah, and that's what it is. Something simple. Another spike. It's fascinating to watch, though. So every cell of the body begins to vibrate at such a fast rate that it turns into light. When this begins, the temperature of the body increases and the body starts to glow with light. When every cell is vibrating at a very high rate, you will disappear from normal vision and move into a higher dimensional reality. Have you guys ever experienced that? Perhaps you might be at like a grocery store or somewhere, and if it seems like everybody is maybe from a different dimension, or you're moving in and out of dimensions while you're there. And then finally, you might actually look into the eyes of somebody that actually is on the same vibratory level as you. And they're few and far between, but it seems like, okay, I recognize you, even though we've never met. It's that whole vibratory level that she's talking about. Let's continue on with that. This is because the body has moved in vibration beyond the third dimension, is now vibrating on a much higher dimensional levels. And that's exactly what it is. When you get into that level, you're going to recognize people, and you're like that beacon of energy that you're going to be attracting people just as they are to you and you to them. This means that you will not go through the death process, as you will then have a light body, just like what we saw in the first video of the transfigurations. Aging will not exist for you, and you will have stepped into the next dimensional reality. You can then access the next stage of spiritual evolution. So let me just pause real quick and give a quick shout out to everyone that's joining us on YouTube. I'm going to post a link in there where you guys can join us here. And as I mentioned, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to open up the chat room so you guys can join right in. And, hi to Scotty Boy, Blue Dollar, Light Force, Marta, Supernatural, Natural, Eminem, everyone that's there. We got a lot of people that are in YouTube, and equally right now, we've got quite a few people here on Zoom. So, quick shout out to Desiree, Gary, James, Kimmy, Marnie, Mary, Rob, Willow. Thank you for joining me here. Oops. There we go. So let's move on. Got lots more to cover. This is fun. I'm really enjoying covering this topic. This is where we're putting our thoughts and our energies here on this particular evening, where many people at this particular time would probably be watching some kind of crap on TV to distract them, but not us. Here we are putting our thoughts and intentions on 5D Earth, the new Earth. So speaking of the new Earth, they have emphasized that this has happened down through time to certain individuals and small groups of people. I think Dolores Cannon mentioned the Mayans in one of her previous videos. But what makes it unique now is that it will be the first time that an entire planet will make the shift into another dimension. This will be the new Earth and the new world. This is described in the Bible as the new heaven and the new earth. The others who are not ready will be left behind, just as it says in the Bible, to continue to live out their own karma. They will not even be aware that anything has happened. And we spoke about this recently too. We covered a lot of topics here on our chats. Those who have not become enlightened will have to return to another denser planet that is still involved with negativity to work out their remaining karma. They will not be allowed to come to the new earth because their vibration will not match. Now, I got to say too, according to Dolores Cannon, the easiest and quickest way to eliminate karma is through forgiveness. It's that simple. So, moving on. Just expanding on what it's going to be like. It's like going to expand into another dimension. Let me see how I can explain this to you. It's like a raising, if you can understand, like we're going to raise into a different vibration. We'll be able to see what's going on. We can't stop them. We can't help them anymore. And that's just what we were talking about with that transfigurations episode that I showed here. It's all tying together. And that's where we're all heading. That's when we put that energy and that love into everything in us and around us. And we as beacons, send that all out around us. We lift everyone up around us as well as ourselves. Similar to, like, for example, if you're a Reiki worker, if you're doing Reiki on people, someone else, the saying is, when you work on others, you also benefit yourself. So, we're all in this together, raising the vibration of the planet. It's exciting that we're here, despite all the distractions that are going on around us. Here we are doing our work. I want to refer now to that article that Rosie Neal wrote. It's very relative to what's going on right now. 15 energetic things you may experience as your body is being upgraded. Now, if you give me a second, I got to grab some more water. Yummy. The first one, bifurcation triggering emotions. We talked about bifurcation, I think yesterday and earlier in this chat as well. There's a bifurcation taking place and a separation of densities. This is going to bring a lot of things to the surface and they will create a lot of triggers that will come up to trigger you into old judgments. We've seen a lot of that going on right now. Many people are going through things that issues are coming up to the surface more so now than ever before. It could be anything from relationships to addictions, and they're surfacing up, they're bubbling, and there has to be some kind of resolve to it in order to move on. And it's the purging process that we're all watching and witnessing, and nobody is exempt from this. We're all going through it. As beautiful as your life may be, there's stuff that's still coming up that needs to be purged and transmuted. Old issues arising, similar to what I was just talking about. Some of the things that you may have dealt with in the past will be re-triggered, and they're coming up for release. Feeling the need to move. There will be many that will move geographically from one location to another, simply to ground in a frequency to the planet that is needed in the location that they're being moved to. I, like everyone else, am going through exactly my own stuff and work as well. In regard to feeling the need to move, I would also say you may feel anchored to exactly where you are. And regardless of whether you're feeling that need to move or are content to being exactly where you are, we're all lighting up the grid exactly where we are right now. And it's so important that, because we're all connecting on different points of the grid, it's incredibly lit up. For example, if everybody moved here to Florida, we'd have this one state in the United States just lit up, but then the rest of the world would be dark. So everyone is exactly where they need to be. I moved here from upstate New York. I don't like the energy of the Northeast. It's fast paced. It's a denser energy. And down here, it's in Florida on the Gulf Coast. It's more laid back, but it's not that way everywhere here on Florida, in Florida either. For example, I don't like the energy in Tampa. I'm not crazy about the Miami area energy. It's a little bit heavier, faster paced. I don't care for that. I like it kind of laid back and relaxed. So that's why I'm here. Sarasota, Siesta Key area. Easygoing, laid back. Kind of fits my personality, even though I'm like a bundle of energy. Number 4, bringing in the crystalline consciousness template. There is an overwriting of the templates from the past as we are being updated. We are also receiving new template codes, which are throwing us off balance. We are taking on a crystalline consciousness and merging with the higher self. We are dissolving beliefs that no longer serve us or will be needed anymore as we move forward and begin to open up and receive feelings of bliss and divine love on many levels. Number 5, proverbial heaven and hell. Some will be dealing with chaos as others with bliss. I suggest you try to stay in a place of observation from a point of sacred neutral and don't judge. Everyone is going through this differently and it is affecting everybody. As I've always said, we are living on the edge of change, and it's happening in a way we don't understand because it's never happened like this before. And that's what Dolores Cannon was saying. This has never happened on this kind of level to a whole entire planet. Some people may exit early. There will be many that will not be able to receive the energy and they will leave the planet, which almost happened to me last September. But this is what was agreed to before they incarnated on a higher soul level. They that chose the path to leave will continue to work on the other side of the veil. I believe that too. And as much of what we've already covered today has involved Dolores Cannon, she's one of those people that's helping on the other side of the veil. Dr. Masaru Emoto spoke about him. He's also helping. People like John Major Jenkins, Jose Arguelles, Ian Lungold, Terrence McKenna. They've all left before this could happen. The event will happen, but they're there on the other side helping out. And we will see them all. So continuing. Miscommunication and communication. There will be much miscommunication coming to the surface. Miscommunication is becoming more intensified. I want you to be aware that it can also affect you. It can affect your ability to communicate even with yourself and your internal dialogue. There is a subtle process going on in how you are relating to yourself. There is communication that comes from your light body and from your inner source to your conscious self and ego. The filtering of all messages and communications is somewhat clouded for most people during this time as the shift is taking place. The next one, I've had this, but I can't say it's not age. I do turn 60 this year. But no, I do have a photographic memory for certain things as well. So number 8, memory loss. There will be much stuff going on with memory and memory loss. It will be affected and influenced more in the now moment. We are going to a place we have never gone before. And it is happening from a point of creation that we are creating in each moment. That is one reason for the memory loss. The other reason is to keep you in the ever-present moment of now time, which is considered fifth dimension. And that's a beautiful point. I mean, how many times do we either live in the past or try to project something in the future when we need to stay in the now? Because it's going to happen that quick regardless. The 5D, the event, the new earth, it's going to happen instantaneously. But we are bringing that to us, and ultimately there is no time anyway, so it's already happened. Moving on. Time, as you know it, is changing. I will go as far to say that linear time, as you know it, which is a social agreement, is on the edge of change. Linear time is there to slow things down so things don't manifest and happen so quickly. It is known as past, present, and future, but time is moving and picking up for many, many very, very quickly. And yeah, we all have that feeling. At some point or another, we've all gone through that feeling of the time speeding up phenomenon. So as we feel like time is speeding up, is it possible that every ion, proton, neutron, electron in our body is speeding up and vibrating faster and quicker, creating that within us? And as I mentioned before, light may emit from your pores. We are in fact moving from silicon to crystalline on a cellular structure. Many of you will be able to take pictures and see it in your skin. So these were pictures that Rosie and I have taken. And you guys can do the same thing. I guarantee it. DNA upgrades. Even the pictures that were taken some months ago have completely changed to a brand new level of light integration. The mitochondria is changing in form. The mitochondrial houses the RNA and DNA. And for some, it is becoming completely unrecognizable. Well, that's what's happening right now. As you know, we're working on, turning on all the codons, the beneficial codons in our RNA and DNA. Things are going to be happening, moving and shaking. That 100th monkey effect is going to be happening. Fatigue. Just talked about this before we even got onto the main topic. I had to take a nap earlier today. Naps all throughout the week. Most in the more advanced stages will need a great deal of rest. It will be one of the greatest things you can do for yourself. And as many of you know, we get so many downloads when we take those naps. So if you have the opportunity, if you're being called to take a nap, do so. It's tough when you're at work. You can't really fall asleep on your desk. It'd be kind of embarrassing if you did, big puddle of drool right there. But no, if you can, I don't know, maybe you could, maybe during your lunch break, if you get like an hour, make sure to set your alarm. You don't want your boss knocking on the window of your car. Hey, wake up, you're fired. Moving on. Weight gain. This happened to me. Many will be dealing with weight gain to make space to hold more light, which is needed to create the crystalline form. So I've actually lost, I think, 7 pounds so far. But I put on some weight from the point of having the heart attack until the beginning of the year. I was up to 222 pounds, 222. Down to 215. Still able to hold plenty of light though. Difficulty forming sentences. This will be some that will have a difficult time with sentence structure, and others that will have a difficult time with clarity of thought. That would be me, clarity of thought, just trying to put my thoughts into a coherent sentence. Yeah. There's nothing in our past which will support all the changes that are happening to us in this ever-present moment of now. Kind of touched on this one earlier too. The last one, moving in and out of dimensions. There are many that are vacillating back and forth between the third dimension and the fifth dimension and are having difficulties keeping a foot in both worlds. So I'm sure that's true. And many people can attest to that they've experienced that kind of thing. The next thing I'm going to cover is 13 signs that you're ready to go home, back home, that you're ready to go home to the new earth. This is an article I wrote a long time ago. It was most recently reposted on the 17th, but I think, gosh, this article, if I did a show, I did a show talking with Dolores Cannon one time about the new earth. But if I included that video in there, that was 2013 or so. So I probably did this article around 2009. 13 signs you're ready to go home to the new earth. 1, you constantly experience synchronicities. I think everyone's gone through those, the 1111s. We're finding synchronicities now that go a little bit even deeper than what we anticipated. One of them I brought up to you guys. Look at, for example, whatever your birthday is. If you were born on September 15th, from this day forward, you're going to start noticing that the time, when you look at the time, it's 9:15. I had to look down at the time. It's 9:55 right now. Oh, I was thinking, oh God, what if it's 9:15? That would have been pretty cool. But yeah, that's one of the synchronicities that you'll notice. So your birthday, I constantly see mine as written in time. Another thing the deeper you look, the more interesting it gets. So when I was pulling into my parking lot and into my apartment complex, I was looking at the license plates of all the cars that are here. And I just did that today. I came back from the post office to mail off the tie-dye shirts. I was pulling back into my parking lot. So I'm looking at the license plate numbers. One car has, adds up to a 1, which is new beginnings. Other cars had 2 sevens in them, or with sevens being a number that I relate to a lot because my name has 3 sevens. G is the 7th letter, so Greggg. So I saw sevens, ones, and then even license plates that seemed like they weren't anything. They added up to like 16 if you added the numbers up, which was a 7 yet again. You realize that everything that is around you, you're basically creating for yourself, and you're leaving clues for yourself. And that's part of these synchronicities that we see every day. So look deeper, continue digging in. It goes well beyond 1111. Okay. So you may notice that when you check the time, it's the number of your birthday, as I just mentioned. This happens a lot for me. If you're born on November 28th, you'll see 1128 when you check the time. Or you may be paying for groceries that come to 1128. You may fill your gas tank, I got to correct that, your gas tank, without realizing that you put in 11.28 gallons. These are not coincidences. When you experience these synchronicities, try to be cognizant of what you were thinking about when the synchronicity occurred. Number 2, you begin to manifest your desires with ease. Dolores Cannon once said, one of the biggest lessons you came to Earth to learn is how to manipulate energy. This is how powerful your mind is. You can create anything. And this includes your ability to manifest. Now more than ever, it's extremely important to think and feel positive thoughts, because it's the emotion behind the intent that creates manifestations. For me, it's easy as heck to manifest a killer parking spot. Matter of fact, I just had somebody that said the same thing. They said, "Oh, I was watching one of your videos, and she's here right now." And she said that she was able to manifest a parking spot after watching the video, and she put it to test, and she was able to do that. So put it out there, try it. Yeah. Envision that spot. What I do is I don't just envision one, I envision like 3 spots, so I have my choice. All right. So I pull in and there's 3 spots open. It's great. You can do it. It's not that hard to do, but it just shows you your ability to manifest. And when you can do that on that level, you can start to work it up to bigger, more amazing things. So your eating habits change. You may find yourself eating less meat and more healthy organic foods and beverages. We were just talking about that with Dolores Cannon, what she was saying. You may also find that you're experiencing a specific craving that you've never really had beforehand for a particular food. What that might also be, if you're having a particular craving for a particular food that you may not have liked in the past, that also might be a walk-in. Sometimes your soul just gets so tired, or you get so tired, and your soul can only do so much, and you end up getting a walk-in soul that comes in. And it's not like you are no longer you. You still have all the memories of everything you've done in the past. I've had a number of walk-ins, but there's something that might change within you, and that could be food cravings. You might all of a sudden like eating spinach when you've never liked spinach before in your entire life. You might, like in my case, I love hard rock, but I started listening to swing music, big bands. I love it now. It's cool. Just out of the blue, I'm listening to big bands and swing music. So little things to look forward to. And you can just do a search too for more on walk-ins on N5D, and you'll find a plethora of articles. Your dreams become more prophetic and less fearful. So that happens when you're doing your work, when you're releasing all the crap that you have to get rid of, when you're grounding and manifesting, and you're just going along the spiritual path the way you're supposed to be going. And once you do all that work, once you do most of the work, all the work doesn't have to be done, but once you do most of that work, your dreams become more prophetic. You're not going to have those dreams of where you're, a huge tire is about to run over you, or you're getting fired from work and stuff like that. Because you've done the work, there's nothing left to fear in your subconscious mind. And when that happens, your dreams become prophetic. You'll start seeing things in the future. So let's go back to the article. And I think that's pretty much what I wrote about. Yeah. When we sleep, the subconscious mind is constantly trying to resolve the issues through metaphors in our dreams. If there is no conflict or fear, then you'll find that your dreams can become quite prophetic. Number 5, you have a strong desire for truth, even if it contradicts your previous belief systems. For many people, religion falls under this category as more and more people are becoming spiritual, not religious. And that's the hardest one, I think, for a lot of people, to give up religion. A lot of people will find the good and the bad in religion, or just pick out the good parts and say, well, that's me and whatever. And I respect that. I honor that. Whatever is your choice, just be 51% positive. Whatever path you want to take, whether it's religious, non-religious, atheist, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Just be a good person. In my opinion, all religious texts should be 4 words: love everyone, respect everything. That's all we really need to know. Number 5, you have a strong desire. Oh, we just got that one. Number 6, you understand fear and release it much easier than ever before. The easiest way to do this is to shut off your television or stop reading the newspaper. Does anyone buy newspapers anymore? When was the last time you bought a newspaper? I think the only reason I would buy a newspaper is for the crossword puzzle. If I was going to fly to New York, I'd want it for the crossword puzzle and the jumble. And I'd probably glance at the sports page. But outside of that was my first job too. I was a paper boy. Go figure, right? Throwing the mainstream media propaganda to all my neighbors. Yeah. Oh, also, just quick shout out to Phil Christophers, who gave me the super chat. And he says, "Hi, Greg, I'm working on the New Earth too. Keep it going, brother." Yes, we all are. And we're bringing it to us. So you understand fear and release it much easier than ever before. The easiest way to do this: shut off your television, stop reading the newspaper. Fear is the tool the controllers use to keep us in subservience, control, and conformity. Break free from these chains by releasing the fear, and you'll find that synchronicities and manifestations will happen much quicker. Number 7, you sense a thinning of dimensions. You may begin seeing energies out of the corner of your eye. Some people may see orbs, while others sense a particular energy in the room they're in. I think a lot of empaths are probably more prone to this than anything else, but as the veil thins, you're going to start seeing. We had a topic, shadow people, the thinning of the dimensions. We're going to start seeing more and more of these kinds of things happening, and more people are going to start talking about it. It will become the norm. So put it out there. I encourage people to stand in your truth, especially if you have like a Facebook page, we'll say, and you're afraid to post on it because you're concerned about what your friends might think. It doesn't matter what they think. Stand in your truth, put it out there. Maybe you'll find that your friends will accept you for who you are, or maybe they've thought that way and we're afraid to say that. worst case scenario, you end up bringing on more different friends of the same or similar vibrations because of the vibration that you're putting out there. Number 8, you experience glitches in time or time loops. For example, you may place your keys in a specific spot every day, but one day they're no longer where you placed them. Or you may drive the same way home every night after work, but this time you find yourself on an unfamiliar road. That happened to me one time a few years back. I was driving back home and I would take a left onto the street where I lived, and it was easy to find because there was this VFW that had an old tank in front of the building. So I'd always take a left at the old tank. So I take a left and I'm driving and I don't recognize anything. And I turn around and I look up at the street sign. I wasn't even on the same street, even though I know for a fact I turned down that same street that I've been turning down the entire year. I was on a different street. Anything like that happen to you guys? Pretty crazy. Number 9, you begin to drift away from friends and family who don't understand you. This is another common theme as we align ourselves with those of the same or similar vibrations. As a result, family and friends will seem to fade away from our lives, even though we stay connected with them. Or some will literally fade away as we move into higher vibrations. I wrote an article on something that many of us have experienced called So Your Spiritual Awakening Costs You Some Friends. I highly recommend that article. Yeah, that was such an easy article to write. Number 10, you experience unusual energy shifts. One week, you may need a few hours of sleep every night, while the following week, you may feel the need to sleep much longer than usual. That now more than ever, especially this past week, I'm just finding that, man, lots and lots of sleep is necessary. You're going to find yourself craving for naps. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Leave a comment if you're also experiencing these kind of energy shifts where you're just freaking drained and you need those, you need that nap and you need those downloads. This one I hear all the time. You hear high-pitched frequencies. In general, these high-pitched frequencies are not associated with tinnitus or a vitamin D deficiency. Sometimes they're very loud in one particular ear, while other times they're loud in both ears. Just a quick heads up, if according to QHHT, which is what Dolores Cannon taught, anything on the right side is the divine masculine pitch, and that goes with anything that if you have like an ache or a pain, there's something divine masculine happening on the right side of your body. The left side is divine feminine. Okay. But you can also, if you're hearing like a high pitched frequency out of one side or the other, it could be that masculine or feminine energy. So just something to keep in mind. These sounds may be associated with the rising frequencies of Earth, along with your body assimilating to these frequencies. You'll definitely want to read this article called Do You Hear Perpetual High-Pitched Frequencies? As I mentioned before, too, if you're a musician, you can hear that high-pitched frequency and figure out what note it is. That's what it is right there. So, and from there you can take it forward and figure out, what it's associated with, what key, what chakra or chakras. That's one. That one just happens to be a cusp. So that one I think was the D sharp. Number 12, you feel a strong desire to go home, wherever that may be. Many people often find themselves stargazing and wondering which star system is their planet of origin. Some may feel an affinity to the Pleiades, Lyra, Arcturus, Orion, etc., while others feel home right here on Earth. Regardless of your planet of origin, we are all citizens of this amazingly beautiful planet. So be sure to love Mother Earth and show gratitude for her hosting us during this incarnation. And let's get us back to the screen share. That's much better than watching me. Okay, and our last one. 13, you begin to experience metaphysical abilities that you never thought you could do beforehand. A lot of us are going through this. This may be as simple as being able to see your aura or the aura of other people, or it might be an ability such as telepathy, bilocation, or clairaudience, or any of the clairs. So are we having fun so far? Just got a couple more to go through, and I'll be opening up the lines here, the chat room. There's the link on YouTube. I just thank everybody for joining us here on our chat about the new Earth. The next one that we're covering, like I said, just got a few more, and then we'll be opening up our chat room. But this one is an article called "In Order to Incarnate to Earth, You Had to Master Manifestations." We're just talking about manifestations and the importance of it. This actually goes into a video from Julia Cannon, Dolores Cannon's daughter, and it really made a lot of sense. And here's something that Julia paraphrased from Julia Hansen's book, Awakening to Your Creation. This is the densest, most challenging planet of all the planets in the universe to live on and live in. This is one of the most challenging this is the most challenging universe of all the universes to live in and live on. So right there, you know there's something special about this little planet. It's not by accident, it's by design. In order to get the golden ticket to step foot on this planet, just to be here, you have to be a master manifester. Not just anyone can come here and handle what's going on here. You have to be a master manifester. We aren't just anybody. Julia goes on to say, we're used to flying. We're used to just zipping around, doing whatever we want. We come into this planet and it's heavy and it's dense. We created this. What we also created were the rules, but these were man-made and imposed on us. Ultimately, there are no rules in this game, which Julia describes as free will. We can create whatever we want. To make this game more challenging, we forgot about our abilities to manifest and create when we incarnated here. So it's up to us. So it's up to each of us to remember our true abilities and gifts as creators, and to use those in the best interest of humanities. To add to these challenges, we play this game while moving through dimensions. How's that for challenging? That's challenging. We are great and powerful beings. As the veil of forgetfulness thins, we are remembering because we are able to see that part of us, to see who we really are. As that happens, we have abilities coming in. And those abilities are happening every day. More and more people are waking up to how powerful they really are. And like Julia said, we're remembering that we are these master manifestors. To create something simple like a parking spot, that's great. Let's work on something bigger. Okay. Bear with me. Okay. So this next one is from an article called New Earth News, Dolores Cannon Moving into the New Earth. And these are some of the main points I want to summarize from this article. So the earth frequencies are changing as our bodies are changing to the new frequencies. Our cells are receiving new instructions. This may explain why many people are hearing high pitched frequencies. Is it possible that that's part of our DNA upgrade, the high pitched frequencies? Yeah, most certainly, yes. People who go to source, people who die, return to Earth with a purpose. They told Cannon that the Earth is calling and is in trouble and that they needed to return. When she brings them forward in time, the client will tell her, I am here to help. There's something I'm supposed to do. I think a lot of people feel that there's something we're all here for and something much greater, whether it's just to anchor that energy. A lot of people, let me go here. A lot of people are trying to find that purpose, but it doesn't have to be grand. You don't have to have, what I'm doing right here within 5D. Some people, all you need to do is just be that beacon of light, hold that energy. Some people don't even have to watch the news or be cognizant of anything else that's going on. Just hold that energy. Okay. Everyone's playing an important role. You don't even have to know what it is. You're already playing it on a higher level. There will be many left behind because they can't change their frequency and vibration and quick enough to move with it. The new earth will not accept people who live in negativity, who are at least 51% negative. You have to work on this now, or you'll be stuck with the old earth. Our vibrations are changing, and some will get left behind because they can't change quick enough. I don't think anyone that's watching this has anything to worry about, but some of our friends and family, they might. This is important. Don't get caught in the illusion of what's happening. In other words, don't let the economy, politics, religion even control you. Our DNA is being changed. We are going to be at the point where we will never be sick anymore and will never die. Those who are stuck deep in negativity will not be allowed to live out their lives on the older earth. When they die, they won't come back to the new earth because the new earth will not have any negativity. They'll be sent to another planet that is still experiencing negativity to work it out. Yeah, we have to get rid of the fear. Enough said. Yep. One world will not be aware of the other after ascension. People who get left behind will think, it's too bad so-and-so died believing what he or she believed. And this is according to Dolores Cannon. These are quotes from her. They won't be aware that anything has happened. The old earth will still be here, vibrating at its lower frequency with terrible things happening to it. But the new earth moves into another dimension, vibrating so fast that it becomes invisible to those on 3D earth. This one is called transitioning into 5D earth. So we got these new energies that are coming in with the age of Aquarius. So, obviously change will be inevitable. Each epoch, each age has its own energy signature. And this is what we're in right now, the energy of the age of Aquarius, which probably helped to usher in the photon belt, and where we started seeing the changes in the sun going from yellow to white, where it is right now. And all these other energy signatures that we're watching as well with the Schumann resonance. Powers that be will be no more. They're going away. There's nothing we have to do. Honestly, just let them, whatever they're doing, they're going to fade away. Don't put any time or energy fretting about them. They've already lost. They know it. It's all collapsing, and that's a good thing. I totally agree. Made this prediction a long time ago, but I think I wrote this article in 2015, but I made it long before that, where I can foresee a collapse of the Roman Catholic Church, with their net worth being distributed to the global population as payment for their corruption and tyranny against the world through unsanctioned wars and financial greed, as well as retribution for their immoral acts against humanity, such as their involvement with pedophilia, which always gets brushed under the table with no repercussions. That alone would create instant abundance for everyone. Instant abundance. If the net worth of the Roman Catholic Church, who has more gold than any other entity on the planet, and who is richer than any other institution on the planet, if their net worth was given to the rest of the world, that would create instant abundance for everyone. So, yeah, it's all collapsing. I talk a lot about this in Pluto and Capricorn. This picture is so true. It's a quote by Michael Elner. Everything is backwards. Everything is upside down. Doctors destroy health. Lawyers destroy justice. Universities destroy knowledge. Governments destroy freedom. The major media destroys information, and religion destroys spirituality. Isn't that true? So what can we expect? As more truths are revealed, our educational system will need to reflect the true history of our existence. Right now, it's just a public indoctrination system. This is what we can expect. All history books will need to be rewritten to reflect these truths, as each one is currently used as propaganda to support any given country's view on the history of any given event. The mainstream media will be unrecognizable from what it is today. Imagine any given TV station after the cabal goes down and is replaced with people who work for the best interests of humanity. How cool would it be to have David Icke or Graham Hancock as reporters or anchormen on the 6 o'clock news? Imagine watching quality television with commercials that help to benefit humanity. This is where we're heading. We will still have jobs. This is what I see as the intermediate, what happens between now and when that white flash happens. There's got to be something that bridges us. So this is the bridge. We will still have jobs, but they will all help to improve the quality of life for everyone. In time, most jobs will be automated by machinery, as explained by the Venus Project. In place of money, we might switch over to an energy system where everyone is paid equally, no matter what level of education you have or what credentials you possess. The goal is to eventually get rid of the money system because, as we have seen, the accumulation of money brings corruption and greed, and neither will be tolerated in 5D Earth. One question I like to ask people is this, and I'll be doing a whole show on this topic. If there was no such thing as money, then what would you be doing with your life? Having fun isn't a good enough answer because we'll all have fun. Eventually, you'll want to contribute to society. So what will you do? I can see myself having a farm where I would grow fruit and I would be able to feed others with it, or possibly use it in trade or barter. I would also be a spiritual counselor for our children to help people find their true divine reason for being here. While those who are caught in the matrix will view this article with disregard, it is becoming reality every day. And that's where we're heading. And as for the matrix, don't even worry about that. When this white light floods the planet, that matrix dissolves. It cannot stay. So just like politics, religion, government, the flat earth, don't put your time, efforts, energy into things that really are just going to fade away or don't mean anything, right? Or that you can't prove. So I'm going to leave it off there, and I'm going to open up the chat room. You guys are all unmuted here, and I'm going to throw a link on.
Greetings to all.
Blessings. So, who's pumped up for the 5D Earth, the new Earth?
I sure am, man.
Bring it on, right?
I'm ready.
I'm ready too.
Yeah. It's my little pep talk for everyone right there.
Yeah.
I love it.
So what ideas, what can you foresee about the 5D Earth that you could bring to the conversation? And what would you like to see on a 5D Earth?
Peace, love, compassion, understanding, forgiveness. I think those are all going to be there. Pretty sure.
That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Like total equality across the board for what everybody's skill paths are, and appreciation for everything people bring to the table instead of just a few.
And just putting these out there and having people listen to that and agree with it is creating it, is part of the manifestation process. See, I like the abstract parts, the abstract thinking part of it. See, one of my ideas is I would have an ocean where the water is interactive with the person, right? So imagine going in and you like the water temperature. You like the water temperature cool. Here in the United States, cool. I can't give you a Celsius, but cool in the United States for me would be mid to upper 60s, kind of like the Pacific Ocean all the time. It's always cold. But if you like that water, it would be like that for you. For me, I like it at 83 or so. I don't know what that is in Celsius, maybe 24 or so Celsius. I don't know. I'm not European, but we could be standing right next to each other and you would feel that cold water, the cooler water, and I'd feel the warmer water. So that would just be one of the manifestations I would make, or one of the things I would create for everyone. I think that's part of the creation process, is to come up with stuff that everyone would enjoy and benefit from.
Well, I kind of think it'd be more that we regulate our bodies. I mean, as I see this going forward, it's first going to be a raise in our consciousness, and that brings on a change in our body. And yeah, your body will be able to regulate its heat, its cold, whatever it wants to experience. It can create that all around it. That's my theory.
I wonder, that's a good point. Will we need food in 5D? Or would that just be something that would be a social thing? You really exist on prana, but you'd be like, oh, remember the old days when we had lasagna, and you could manifest a thing, quick think of a lasagna and just say, oh yeah, I remember this. Not that we have to eat this anymore, but will we be living on prana at that point?
Well, we'll be living on an energy. I mean, there's people now that already are what they call breatharians, where they just breathe and take in the prana from the sun. So yeah, I mean, I think that's totally possible.
I think we'll like feed off the energy, just the energy, like he's saying, from the universe. Some people say demons, but I call them archons. I've seen them, and they feed off of the negative energy that's going on, and the light beings will feed off of love, generosity, caring, but love. It all comes around to love, and it'll be a lot different. Well, that's our love will keep us going. Love will be kind of all, is how I see it.
What if when this event happens, that okay, so all of us of the raise up in vibration and all of a sudden we're in 5D Earth. What if everything did get left behind, dissolved into energy, and we ended up feeding off of that? How ironic would that be? That'd be like a Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
What would be really cool though is to be able to have conversations with, the plants, animals, your pets and everything, and to be able to, communicate on that kind of level.
I already do that.
It'd be cool if everyone could do it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they told me today I had to reorganize my plants and repot some of them and move them around. They were mad at me because I neglected them because of my relationship. And since my relationship fell apart, so did all my plants. So, and I started putting more energy into the plants. Now they're happy. So it's like a telekinetic energy they send out.
Mm-hmm. So what ideas would you have for 5D Earth?
Oh, lots of love and lots of sarcasm. I've been noticing
Sorry, go ahead.
I've been noticing myself like not eating any meat. Like for some reason, it makes me feel really sick. And I have more seizures when I eat meat, especially pork and beef. And I've just been feeling really sick. So I've been trying to juice and trying to eat more green and more things that are really good for my epilepsy. And it's really helping a lot. I've noticed a big difference in the energy frequency. Like you're really, really low with energy when you eat meat, and then you're really high and light when you eat like light stuff. Like, yeah.
Now, they say that sarcasm is the lowest form of humor, but I disagree.
Me too.
I think the people who say that are the targets of sarcasm.
The offended
But honestly,
one.
I as much as I love sarcasm, I don't think sarcasm will be in 5D because it does rely on your ability to
truthful.
mock and belittle. But you're also, when you're mocking and belittle, you're doing that to yourself and you're seeing your own flaws. That's what I love about sarcasm, because within that flaw, I see within myself, and it's easy to joke about.
Well,
But
as a Sagittarius, it's really easy for me to cover up my emotions easier for it.
really, a fire sign like that? You kidding me? I think eventually it's going to come out.
Well, in order for me to help with my emotions, I use sarcasm and jokes as a way to bring out those emotions, and like planting, being around trees, nature. It really helps me get out of my comfort zone when, someone's making a joke and I'll go along with it, like, oh, huh.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to be offended as much, and I try to twist it into a more positive aspect.
Well, I think in that situation, you're probably not going to really need sarcasm on 5D Earth. If everyone's all about love, there'd be no reason to be sarcastic.
I would be like Peter Pan,
In what way?
playing like kids, playing with the kids, play food fight, the coloring foods, flying like a Peter Pan,
Flying would be
with
cool.
the elements.
Yeah. So would you have those like green leotards and hat?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't see myself doing that, but I can see you doing that, Sam.
Be like in the third dimension. Let me get the hell out of here. Start flying. Let me get to the fifth dimension.
Yeah, I'm ready for that. I'm ready to start flying.
I'm all about fun and
Teleporting, I
love.
don't care. Just so I don't have to walk everywhere.
One of my favorite dreams is that I can fly. And a lot of us have had those dreams, recurring dreams, where all I have to do is like arch my back and I can swoop down and swoop up. And the funny part is, though, in real life, I'm petrified of heights. When I'm flying in my dreams, there's no fear whatsoever. I can go as high as I want, and it just feels so natural. I think that's part of 5D as well.
I had that dream too, Greg.
Yeah. Are you afraid of heights normally too?
Yeah.
But in your dream?
It's different. It's the opposite.
Exactly. It felt like it was natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really have
one
a
time
flying.
I flew. I think one time I had an Akita as a service animal when I lived in Brevard County, Florida for a long time. And
that's a lot of fur for a dog in Florida.
Yeah. Well, we were mostly indoor except for walking and such. But so one day she liked to run and jump in the culverts. So I was running and jumping with her, and I swear I flew for just like I shouldn't have gone that far in the jump, and I was light, but in that moment I was having so much fun, so much was going on. I don't even know if it was an emotion or, but it definitely felt. I felt light and like flying, like floating. It was really great. I'd love to fly in 5D Earth. That'd be great.
I think that's a possibility. Why could it, if thoughts become manifestations in 5D Earth, anything is possible. Uh, as long as it's based on love, I would imagine, love based, right?
Yeah.
Well, this would be the problem with negative thought, though. So what will happen if you have a negative thought in there? Then it's all going to come back on you, right? So that's what's going to eliminate the negative in 5D. It's that instant manifestation. It's going to cut them down like cordwood.
Yeah.
I would think that there's some kind of fail safe, some kind of,
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
detrimental to anyone else. Also, of the magnitude of 1,000,000 times, you're not gonna. There's no way you would want to hurt anyone when you feel 1,000,000 times that unconditional love that you've magnified. It's just you wouldn't wish. How could you wish anything bad upon anyone when you have that much love surrounding you?
Yeah.
I think the hardest part would be trying to manifest anything at that point when you feel that much love. You just want to bathe in it. I'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna hang out here for like 1,000 years.
Here's the question: Are we gonna remember being in 3D Earth? You know? You
I think so.
That's kind of what I'm wondering is they may not see us, but I'm wondering if we aren't going to see them. I mean,
Would it be cool if we could kind of interact with them as like maybe spirit guides for them?
that's highly
That
probable.
was really cool.
Could that
Very
be what's
highly
already
probable.
going on?
And
Could be.
the other thing that we're going to be seeing is our space brothers and sisters. Of course, some of us are already seeing them, talking to them, channeling them, whatever.
I would love to travel interplanetary when that happened. 5D start.
I can see, yeah, that would be cool too. I think anything is possible, but you know, I think with what like Phil was saying with the our star brothers and sisters, right now, I can take my night vision goggles and see a bunch of ships out there, but I think in 5D Earth, we're just going to see them. You know, we won't need night vision goggles, and it'll be amazing to see how many of our brothers and sisters from various different star nations are visiting us, as we will be visiting them, like Sam was saying.
Yeah, no, I think we're actually going to be talking with them, meeting them
Telepathically?
within this
Face to
decade.
face?
Hmm?
Face to face or telepathically?
Yeah,
or
face
both?
to face.
Yeah.
Walking down the street, say hi. That's a nice ship you got there. Can I have a ride?
It'd be kind of cool to see like somebody from Arcturus doing a selfie with you, you know?
Right.
Yeah, except it's a mental picture. You know, it's all telepathy with.
Oh, they got their glass pad out, you know? Yeah. Or whatever that might be.
But I don't. Do you think we're gonna have a physical body? Because I think we're just gonna be light. You know, just pure light. And you'll know a differentiate. Like your soul will come through as your soul.
Energy
but
signature, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we have physical body, but our body is like a molecule. We can go through walls and everything. We can be form of physical if we want to. I think it's interchangeable.
See, that's what I would lean to if I had to choose one or the other, I would say light body. But if it's possible though, if thoughts become manifestations, say you are a light body, or say you're a physical body. Why can't you manifest that light body, or vice versa, right? So
Right.
it could feasibly be one or the other, or either, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, I believe it'll be more like a. So I think our brains, our consciousness are going 5D, 6D. We'll be able to go multi-dimensional. Our bodies, on the other hand, converting them totally to light, I think that's going to take a little bit more time, though. I
Oh,
don't
wait,
know.
wait. Let's go back. How could we go if we're in 5D? How could we go to 5D, 6D, or communicate with higher dimensions if we can't do that right now with 5D, or are having a harder time doing it? How will we be able to do that with higher dimensions in 5D?
Well, I mean, this
May-
is just what I've heard, man. That once you get into 5D, then all those higher dimensions. Well, it's just
I
like now we can connect with 4D creatures, right? Ghosts, and there's people that channel Dolores Cannon, Tesla, right? So I mean, 4D, 5D people we can communicate with telepathy, telepathically now. So it's the same thing as we move up to a body that is vibrating faster and a mind that is vibrating way faster. Then we'll be able to connect to those. Then we're going to be seeing the 5-dimensional people, and we'll be talking to the 6th and 7th and 8th and 9th dimensional people.
How many
Or-
dimensions do you think there are?
I really have. I know there's. I thought there was 12, but I know there's at least 13 because I've been taken up that far one time. But I don't know
I would-
beyond that. It could be.
I think it's infinite.
Yeah, it could be. It totally could be. If there's an infinite number of timelines and an infinite number of universes, why would the dimensions be limited?
I would think. Well, I could see there being a limit on them, and I don't know. But if I were to say, I would say
33.
that it would probably be based on a master number, and it would probably be 33. Seriously.
Or
That
144.
could be. That could be.
Because, okay, so, and that brings me to another salient point. Okay, so we get into 5D, right? And we're loving it. We're able to manifest. And heck, like I said, I might want to spend 1,000 years just basking in that energy of love. But eventually, I'm probably going to have a website on in 5D called in 7D. So look me up there. Let's
Mhm.
find that, because eventually we're going to want to move to the next phase of spiritual progression. You're going to love the experience of 5D, but eventually you're going to want to move up
But
to the next.
can we do you think we'll have an option, like to come back to 3D to do the game, the experience?
No, I think this is it. So make the most of it. It's so important. That's why, like earlier today, when I woke up from that nap and I'm thinking, okay, on my life review, I don't want to look at this day being a complete waste. I did nothing. I'm like, okay, I got to get a show going here. So I got to do something to benefit humanity today. So that's why I was planning already back then for a show right now and bringing us all together right here, right now.
I'm having issue. They try to stop me from sharing the love and information. So they blocked
Who are
me
they?
from seeing your channel.
In what way? How?
They blocked me from social media. They blocked me YouTube. Like when I turn to your channel, I cannot hear you at all. And the last few months, I having trouble getting online. And they blocked me on YouTube when every time I subscribe to spiritual channel, they unsubscribe me and then block me from seeing it. And
I
they
hear
do-
that a lot, brother.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, and I keep track of the numbers of people that are subscribed. I've been stuck at like 100 and I think it's 153,000 subscribers or something like that. just stuck on the same number of thousands of subscribers for like the last year. It's like I can't pick up anyone new, but I constantly see that I'm losing subscribers, and people will tell me that they're being unsubscribed, and you know, without them actually doing it themselves. YouTube is unsubscribing my subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
I saw that yesterday, your video, and then I clicked thumbs up, and then automatically click back down to let's say 78. I was clicking to 79 and go back to 78. And I had to keep doing
I
it.
just was not able to find this meeting until just a couple of minutes ago. I got no notification on Patreon, nothing on N5D.
Yeah.
I
Same.
just happened to look on YouTube and wow, you're on, and I'm like, okay. And then it took me a while to figure out the meeting numbers at the very top, you know, of the chat room. But I mean, I've been listening to you guys now for 2 hours trying to, you know, get logged into Zoom. So I feel
That
like
was my
I've
fault.
accomplished something today.
I forgot to post it on Patreon. I'm sorry. And
That's
on
okay.
Twitter. So yeah, I apologize to everyone on Patreon and Twitter earlier in the show. Sorry.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
So I had to search for you guys to make connection because they try to disconnect all of us.
Wow.
Well, that's not been my experience, but then again, I'm pretty strong-willed, so I don't think they can do that stuff to me. I saw the only thing that really stops me from being on this more often is that I have to expand everything out, so I can't actually see the little notification that comes on that you know that you've gone live. Otherwise, I would have been at the first of this video.
See, all you guys that are talking on here, you're becoming your own, you know, YouTube stars. I see on YouTube, Marta saying, where is it? I lost it here. Hi again, Gary. Marta said that to Gary. So you're picking up followers and fans here in 5D. That's awesome.
Well, hello,
You guys are all
everybody.
becoming
I'm
stars.
back.
Hello,
Sorry.
family.
Yeah,
I love you all.
indeed.
Indeed, love to all.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
to all.
That's what it's all about. Love, 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 love. Just
Light and love to everybody.
yeah. Hey,
Everything.
Gary.
I love love, you know.
I love bringing all you guys on this platform, and the fact that you're able to share your voices, your energy signatures, your thoughts, your feelings. Everyone's
So
got
many
amazing
things going
stories.
on.
Very grateful.
That is very beautiful.
Hey, we were talking about dimensions earlier, and I don't know if y'all read my post in the chat, but I'm an avid Kabbalah student, and I have the Tree of Life sitting right here in front of me. And I heard something, I don't know, Gregg Braden or somebody, they were talking about that they have discerned or determined at least or can quantify 11 dimensions. And when I heard that, I just looked up at my glyph and I was like, holy poo. There's 10 Sifro in this Tree of Life, and then the light above Keter, Ein Sof, which would be it's not even the creator directly, but the closest light that we're going to see, that's 11 dimensions. I do believe it was Phil or somebody that said that there was possibly 13 as he had experience of them. And I wonder, because on my tree, I also have drawn to art on that, the hidden thing. And I'm wondering if that's part of the experience that you had, Phil.
Well, my experience was related to Metatron's cube,
Yeah,
and basically that goes to 12. It was Meg Benedictine has been working with Metatron's cube. Only she kind of ignores the sacred geometry part of it and just goes with the spirals.
Well,
you know, like in the Tree of Life. Let's see here. Yeah.
Well, Metatron's cube is represented in there, the seed of life. Every geometrical sacred geometry is represented in the gift of the Tree of Life. So the spirals as well, you know, the caduceus, the snake going up the path through the Tree of Life. That's also, you know, that could also be construed as a spiral, because You know, with your even lines, you have to have that flow to connect everything. So,
Well, correct me if
Just
I'm
saying.
wrong, but isn't there a Kabbalah, a tree of life with 12?
no,
This-
no, no, no. It's always 10. Because I have a lot of emphasis in hermetics as well. For me anyway, for my meditation practices or whatever, I also like to include Da'at, which is actually knowledge, which is gnosis, which is also the portal, or the backside of Keter. You know, it's all inclusive, and I now keep in mind that there's other Kabbalists. I studied the Judaic lineage of Kabbalah. You know, what's her name? What was her name? The singer lady with the tits. Madonna. Madonna's Kabbalah is not the Kabbalah I'm studying. Okay, and that may be where that was brought about, because that is not. Well, you know, and everything is necessary. Everything is necessary. You know, when you look around and you see all this effing bleeping looniness in the world, we're all responsible for it at some level. There is the only thing, separation, you know, the separation, all these labels and stuff, that's just a total illusion. You know, there's you're not separate from anything. You are responsible for everything that occurs by, you know, what you're putting out, you know, between your emotions and your thoughts and your actions. That's what's creating the world around you. So if you're having a really, icky day, stop and go, okay, what was I thinking earlier today, yesterday, or even last week that would be having me attracting this kind of volatility into my life? You know, again, with the dimensions, we're multidimensional beings. We are in these dimensions. They're not out there, they're in here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's basically what I have drawn up here on my wall. Yeah, with I have a really noisy one here. I call this noisy because I have put so many correspondences. This is the blueprint right here. This is our blueprint as far as I understand it. You know, I've got a decade of studies under my belt, and a good friend of mine, in the Mother Moon Pagan Monastery in California, she told me the tree of life is basically how the angels see us, and it may be bigger or brighter in different areas depending on where we are at that moment. You know, we express in this to the angels, we express in this form, not in this form, because this is basically an illusion. Everything that you see in your 3D is illusionary by nature of all these things that are coming together that are influencing us, that we don't always know or understand or even perceive. You know, that funny feeling in your stomach, that's a sense. You know, you have all these senses in you, your organs, your skin. Those are all sensory perception, parts of your body. But we're only told we got 5 senses, maybe 6 if you include your intuition. But anyway, you got about 613 senses. So
I see we have a lot of people here that I haven't seen before. So
that cool?
all
Oh, yeah.
of your microphones are open and live right now. If you want to stop in and say hi and join in on the conversation.
All of your microphones are open and live right now. If you want to stop
That's not coming yet. That someone's got a serious. That
Yeah,
one's
the
not working.
disadvantages of open
Feedback.
mic.
Yeah, that one's got muted. Yeah. But who else? Who's here? Like,
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Elena.
Hello.
Hi,
And
guys.
what's this?
Hi.
Haneke? Haneke? I don't think I've seen Haneke here before.
Yeah, that's me. Thanks for your Zoom. Very nice.
Oh, thanks for joining in.
Welcome.
It
Finally.
is nice.
Thank you.
why
from the
why
Netherlands,
haven't you
that's my
joined us
name.
earlier? Were you a little shy or?
No, just didn't. I've read your site. Just didn't hop in before. Didn't know there was any Zoom, any YouTube live chat. So this is my first meeting.
Yay. I'm glad you
Plus, it's
are
5
able.
o'clock in the morning as well for me. So
Oh my gosh, where are you?
in the Netherlands.
Okay. Well,
Hey.
what I planned on doing was I'm not probably not going to have one at 5:30 in the morning your time, but what I plan on doing though is doing something maybe around like 7 o'clock my time, which would probably be, I don't know, maybe noonish your time. I don't know.
So what's your time zone?
Eastern time, United States. Right now it's almost 11 o'clock, and you said it's 5:30 there, 5 something?
Yeah, it's 5 in the morning. Yeah. Wait, for us, it's like 4 UTC in the morning.
Okay, so you're like seven hours ahead of us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so if I did a show at noon,
gonna be
it would be
difficult
like
anyway.
7 o'clock. It would be 7 o'clock at night in the evening. That'd be perfect. So I should do some noon shows so I can capture more of our European family.
Yes, please.
Well, I want to. I planned on doing that. Honestly, I want to bring in. I know it would be horribly inconvenient for the people on the West Coast who would have to tune in at like 9 o'clock in the morning, or for the East Coast who are probably all going to be at work here in the United States. But I want to make it fair for everyone. I want to hear from everybody as well.
I think, Greg, you had to clone 2 of you to do a different time.
Clone, yeah. I don't think the world's ready for that.
You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Ben, it looked like you were doing some cards, shuffling some cards there, and you pulled a card.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
I got the Viking Tarot. I would say to Desiree, I saw she had the Viking Oracle. Aha, very nice. So I'm from the North region. You know, I'm from Denmark. So
Welcome.
I'm educated a little bit in the North. So I pulled 3 cards. I find it very funny. The first card was 7 of Wands. I don't know if we can see it.
Hang on. Let me isolate your screen there.
Okay. And it's Rugnia who fights with Thor. And it's like, yeah, I pulled like yesterday or past few moment, now and future. So it was like before we had like a controversy, we had competitions, and we had what was the last challenges, right? That was the past, and that was 7 of Wands. The now is like the 2 of Swords. You see 2 trees coming together. It's actually Asger and Embla, the first human beings, and it's adjustments, it's stability, and it's accord. So that's 7 and 2. Then I pulled the future. It's the stars. It's a major card, and it's the tree of Yggdrasil. You maybe know that.
Yes.
Right? And funny, we talked about trees, and there's in the chat also commenting about trees and Kabbalah. And so reading here, Yggdrasil, the ash tree. It's a cosmic tree pillar of the universe, a plant that with its branches and roots connects all of the 9 worlds, symbols of the cosmos. Under him live the head of the giant Mimir, the wise, prophet and counselor of Odin and the Norns. He is the symbol of everything. So it stands for like potentials, good omen, bright ideas, and hope. And that's the future.
It's basically building the foundation as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
So all good from here.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Thank you. And that's what we're doing right now. We are building the foundation of the new earth just by, as what I mentioned earlier, talking about it, envisioning it. We're manifesting it as we speak.
Yeah, and about vision, I would say one of my visions is that we after being able to clear ourselves and clear the world and stuff, we would be like a attracting point for healing entities and any spirits and anything that needs healing. It would be a collecting place for wealth and abundance and great stuff.
Do you think that we would be able to help people that are left behind on 3D Earth in some way, maybe in a spiritual spirit kind of way? Or
that would be great.
Well, that's already what we are doing.
Yes.
We are
but it would be different at that point. It would be somewhat different though. And you know, as beautiful as what it will be, and like I said, when you're bathing in that unconditional love to a magnitude you've never experienced before, to be honest, the last thing I was thinking about was when I had that vision, how about those poor suckers left behind? That was a lot. And I feel horrible for saying that, because when you feel that love, it's just so amazing. You don't want to leave it. But that's one thing I need to remember. And maybe that's why I needed to have this show tonight, was to remember that there are people that are left behind. And that is an opportunity. Maybe that's part of our spiritual progression. How we get to 7D from 5D is going back to 3D and helping them, you know, spiritually as guides or whatever.
Yeah. I
I
like
think
that
during
idea.
this time, I think because during this time, the intermingle timeline, shifting and sharing, this is the time that we do it. And that's why the Kabbalah tries so hard to disconnect us from sharing, because they want to, you know, take down some people with them, but we want to take people with us.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's the challenge.
They're trying to keep as many people left behind, and we're trying to take as many people with us. And there's a tug of war with those people that are from 45 to 53% that are teetering one way or the other, you know, positive, you know, being positive or a service to others, you know, that 51% that's needed for the critical mass. And, you know, it's a battle right now. And a lot of people are finally waking up, yet a lot of people are still drinking the Kool-Aid and believing everything that the mainstream media is telling them.
Yeah, that's a sad part, that we believe everything they tell, you know, right? Like right now, the coronavirus, you know, just it's more fear and fear and fear. But hey, if there's oil, we're going there. We don't care how many people die in the process. We want that oil or resource, you know?
Sure. And there's a global vaccination that's going to be coming out of it.
Yeah.
What you got, Phil?
So I was asking about the new Earth, and the first 2 cards that came out, swiftness, or let's see, I'm sorry, didn't look at that number. So the 8 of Wands, fire sign, swiftness. And the second was Knight of Wands. And the third card, the Hierophant. So swiftness, I can see that it's coming quickly.
Well,
The
time's
Knight of-
speeding up. That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah,
Time's speeding up.
swiftness.
Everything's speeding up.
And the Knight of Wands, I mean, you know, you normally think of this as like a character, somebody. But I'm wondering, is this our body of light? Really? And definitely the Hierophant is about being in our higher self.
Teaching.
Also, well, the Hierophant would be like the shaman. It would be another in the Norse deck, I would think. I'm not sure. But it's a major arcana is the important thing. So we've got higher powers working for us, and it's coming quickly. And yeah, we're going to go to a body of energy is, I guess, what the way I could interpret that.
This is so cool.
Is Odin.
Yeah, I can see Odin.
Yeah.
I can see Odin in the Hierophant. For sure. Especially as he is now. I channeled him or evoked him in a ceremony, I'm going to say over 8 or 10 years ago. And he was still pretty much, well, he was into his virtues, the virtues of respect, honor, strength, you know, all the 7 things, the 7 virtues. So, and now I think he's even more so in that hierophant kind of state. He was definitely moving that way when I channeled him or evoked him, however you want to look at that.
It's interesting that the Hierophant also represents the Pope. And we were talking earlier tonight about the Roman Catholic Church possibly getting dissolved and with its net worth going out to everyone, creating instant abundance for everything. The Hierophant can also be determined as doing the right thing. So maybe with the Pope and the Roman Catholic Church and doing the right thing might be that abundance for everyone. I don't think they'll have a choice, honestly.
Well, I have heard that this is the last Pope, according to some prediction, some made back in the 17th to the 16th century. I can't remember exactly when. But yeah, so it could be the fall of the Hierophant in that case. But yeah.
Also, one great word it says here. Let Gregg just also announce this invincible destiny. Invincible destiny. There's no way back. We got this.
No, I think we're either going or we're gonna burn up, one of the two. So I would say, yeah, we want to ascend. We want to be vibrating at a lot higher vibration, so that we can handle the heat that's coming.
And we are already doing that. I have never been higher vibrating than I am now.
Right.
So-
Well, I mean, this is why we're focusing on love, right? Everybody's in that wants to be in. You have to be in at least that love vibration or higher, is what I've heard. So
On YouTube, Imelda says no one gets left behind, but clearly, you know, Dolores Cannon would beg to differ. I think that ultimately no one does get left behind, because what is time in the great aspect of, 1,000 years could be a blink of an eye, 1,000,000 years could be the blink of an eye in the scope of eternity. So I think nobody here wants anyone to get left behind, that everyone would have an opportunity, but clearly Dolores Cannon begs to differ. So some people might get left behind. But as I mentioned, ultimately no one does. So, okay, say hypothetically, some people do get left behind. 26,000 years from now, they're going to make it eventually to the next stage of spiritual progression. Maybe some people want to be left behind as well. What if, some people aren't ready to stop giving up on this third dimensional experience? Maybe they want to do this another round of 26,000 years, and good for them if they do. It's been an amazing experience to be able to incarnate into this density level, to experience everything that we've experienced that we won't be able to actually experience in the same manner in higher levels of dimension. Eating a great meal, the relationships we have, sex, everything that goes along with that, our lower third dimensional drives and aspirations, everything that we've experienced here, the good, the bad, and the ugly, we're not going to do. This is it. Going out, if you enjoy fishing or riding a boat, maybe that stuff would be possible in higher dimensions, but it's not going to be the same because you're working with time constraints and restraints here in this dimension. It's going to be different. It's going to be different in other dimensions. So I can understand some people want to get left behind intentionally and don't want to be part of the shift. I totally get it, because eventually they will be. They'll be with us. They'll make their progression when it's right. Does that make sense?
I saw once in a vision I had on about 8 grams of mushrooms, and this was during my conversion. I had just started doing mushrooms. I knew they were calling to me for a long time, and I had been leaving first I left the church, and it took a long time to really just lose the whole fear of hell if I don't stay within the church thing. Like, that's lingered with me for many years after leaving the church, even though I couldn't stay in the church. It wasn't. So on this, when I had this vision, I was pulled from my body. My spirit was pulled from here. And as I was coming up, I could see my peripherals very well, very well. And so I was being guided out, and like Dolores Cannon was saying in the article you read earlier about the light beings, bluish, white, I perceived it as like white and blue, but the blue was more like a feeling. And then, so I'm being pulled out, and as I get further from the earth, as I move further from the earth, I see more spirit. I see it all across the globe as I'm moving further and further.
What do you mean more spirit? Your spirit, or the spirit of the collective, or
the individuals right now?
Okay.
Like my spirit, your spirit, her spirit. I could see it, all these spirits across the globe, and some were bluish white, and some were reddish white, but you couldn't, like I said, the color was a feeling.
The blue pill or the red pill. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And so my understanding I was given was that, the blue people are the healed, the people who are in, as we say, in the right vibrations, who have done work to heal from the wounds of physical 3D earth. And then the red people were the people that were still suffering. And then I was brought.
Wait, okay, so how long ago was this, and what was the percentage that you could basically tell? Was there a greater number of suffering than other, or vice?
So this was, let's see, it's February now, so it was around June. I decided I had been drinking for a couple of years. I had left Florida. I had moved to the middle of the mountains, New Mexico, alone in a tent, and to just get away from society, because my body was shaking from everything around, and it wouldn't stop. And so I moved out here, and I drank for a while, for a couple of years as I stared at trees. And then The opportunity came to learn how to grow my own mushrooms, which is legal in this state. And so I did. And it was around June 23rd, I quit drinking. And that was because I had my first batch ready. And so I ate about 8 grams of fresh shrooms. And yeah, I quit. By the way, that after this experience, I quit drinking automatically, and I was drinking a half gallon a week. I come from I was raised by a narcissist. I was molested in the Boy Scouts, in daycare, and in foster home. So I went through a lot of stuff. I came out here, I was shedding all that shit. I puked it all out. And so I had these shrooms, they were calling to me, but I couldn't get them. I didn't know where. I live in the middle of nowhere, and I didn't know nobody. So I learned how. So I ate them, and it was just, it was kind of like what you said, that in the end, like I didn't get to see everything, but I was brought out. I saw the spirits. I saw many wounded, but I saw light ones too, blue. And then I was brought out, and at the time I was struggling with the whole flat earth kind of stuff, ball, I don't know. I never seen it, so I've been lied to by every institution on the planet. At this point in life, it's like, okay, I don't believe none of y'all. But I was brought out, and I was turned around, and I saw, a galaxy. Couldn't pick out Earth. I just knew, oh, okay, wow, we live in this spiral. Okay, so it must be something like that or something. And then I was brought back down. And as I was brought back down, there was kind of like I don't want to say a black hole or a warp or something, but like time, space twisted. And so I was brought way forward, and it was a giant party. And everybody was there.
You were
And it was
brought
all
forward in time. You went through a time warp where you were brought forward in time, is where you're at right now, right? You're in the future.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was brought to a point where it was over. Like you said, like some people take longer, but I was brought to the point to where it was over, and all the individual was one, and all the one was the individual, and it was a giant party. It was joy, happiness, the music. I mean, the sounds were just the music, the vibration, everything was love. And then I was brought back down, to my body eventually, like after that part. And so I didn't get to see, if it happens all at once, but I saw in the end, everybody gets to join the party.
Were you given any kind of indication of when this was in the future, when this happens?
Not like a date or a time, no. Near, close. Like I'm doing work to prepare, like you were talking earlier about the some people aren't going to make it to the 5D because of things, and I'm learning, like, how can I go and live in a place of love, right? If I'm still going through phases, I've been working on chakras. I'm going through a phase where I want to feel love and I want to express love, but when it's really intense at times, it's more like knives. It's a lot of energy. My energy flips a lot right now. So
you would have an indication though, if
I know I'm doing work for it, that it's it's coming. And
you might have an indication though, if you kind of sensed that the body you were in when you were in the future is the same or similar to the body you're in now.
Well, it was just the spirit when I brought up, and then in the end, if you could imagine, like when Terrence McKenna kind of talks about the balls, the balls jumping, really talking to him all the time when he did the DMT. Similar to that, if it was something like that. Just everything. I don't know how to describe it. It's too much to try to describe everything. And like, it's all one, but then again, we're all there. Just like we are now, we're just separated through, we forgot,
Well, I have a painting for you, James, to look at to see what, like you were talking about blue people. Well, I was able to see my higher self. And so I know exactly what you're talking about. I've had dreams and visions of like a gold city and like lots of people being in like this gold city. They're wearing gold and like lots of parties, like, but the windows are all clear, they're glass, and it's like it's land and it's beautiful. But I painted a being of myself. Let me turn it around. But I have to fix this a little bit. But I painted this a year ago, and that's supposed to be my higher self, but it needs fixed a lot. But yeah, the blue people you were talking about, and then this like the sphere, like you're talking about like atoms colliding almost like, and then there's like a huge galaxy. But I messed up on the resin, so I'm trying to fix that. But the gold robes that we're all wearing, and then like the earth, like I'm this, like we're this being holding on to this earth and trying to protect it. But
Yeah. Oh, that looks like blue avian.
but it's Syrian, so I'm from Sirius Galaxy.
Wow.
That's
So,
beautiful.
So I
It
put
actually looks Arcturian.
Yeah, great.
It just the way you described it kind of put that together, James. So
Good job on the painting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it really is.
Really good job.
Cool.
well, if I showed you all my paintings, you'd be the things I paint is my dreams. So when he's talking about like the dream state, that's exactly what I do, but I put it in paintings. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And like these parties, it's like, yeah, we're all there. I've seen it. I'm there with you. But I have them when I'm having my seizures or like when I'm having my issues. So it's really weird.
As soon as I saw your painting, I knew it was Syrian too, because I see Sirius a lot in the blue people and the blue star. It's beautiful. And
Thank
the
you.
party, yeah, I get this like vision of so much of a party that it's almost too good to be true. I'm like scared to even believe it's gonna happen. But as a kid, I knew I'd be able to fly, so I thought I was gonna be a bird when I grew up. But I think that flying is us in, whatever dimension we're going to, 5, 6, 7, something up there. I think that's us. We're gonna be able to fly.
It's
Did you
just
ever have
like the
dreams
best
of flying?
party ever.
Yeah, I always knew as a kid that I would be able to fly when I grew up. Like, I thought I was going to turn into a bird though, but I think we'll be able to fly in this lifetime.
Have you ever had that dream of flying?
Yeah, yes, a lot. And still to this day. It started when I was like 4 or 5 years old though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. I was, from a childhood to this day, and maybe like me, I'm afraid of heights, but in my dream, I'm not. What about you?
Well, it's like I'm not even afraid of anything in my dream. It's like I know that I'm like Batman or something, or I just know that I'm something like that. Like I'm just very, very aware that I'm not need to be afraid of anything. There's nothing scary around in there anyway when I'm having that dream, so I'm just having fun doing whatever I want.
So you're not flying away from dragons that are breathing fire on you.
I'm like exploring stuff usually, or I'm on an important place I have to go. And sometimes I even have a clipboard and like I'm doing inventory, and then sometimes I'm cleaning the bathroom somewhere, but also I can fly and I leave. But seriously, I've been cleaning bathrooms in that dream a few times. It's always a recurring dream.
Did you ever see a guy in like green leotards? Maybe it was Sam flying that you're flying with. Peter Sam.
Maybe it was
Peter Pan.
like, after enlightenment laundry. So even though we're still there, we're gonna still have to take care of the earth and take care of each other's house together if we want to have a community living situation. I'll be cleaning the bathroom sometimes, I guess. I don't mind.
What was that movie I'm thinking of, that the woman was, she was doing like cleaning work and she ended up being like royalty, and what was that? Something Jupiter?
Cinderella.
No, something Jupiter.
Ascending,
Ascending.
Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah, yeah,
My
yeah.
favorite movie.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good movie. I need to watch that again.
I've never seen
Yeah,
it.
that reminds me of
sounds
myself.
interesting.
Really? You've never seen it, Elena? I think
Oh my
that might be a
God.
movie that you might consider watching, because
Yeah, I never
based
heard of
on
it.
what you're saying with your dreams, you're basically saying the whole plot without
Yeah.
telling you any of it.
It'll remind you a lot of
Okay,
yourself,
then.
especially if you
Jupiter
relate a lot to
Ascending, I'll look
bees.
it up. I'll watch it.
Yeah, Jupiter
Has
Ascending.
Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis. Hmm
I've noticed a lot of people in Hollywood seem like they know what's going on a little bit. They're dropping hints with their
Jim
movies,
Carrey.
especially that guy Seth Rogen. And like, a lot of them are actually very high frequency people secretly
Jim Carrey.
dropping, love on us. And secrets about what they think about aliens, and like they really think aliens are true, and they are. And I think disclosure is coming slowly in Hollywood too. Some people know.
Look at Jim Carrey's artwork.
Yeah. Everything he's been doing lately. Yeah.
The veil is being drawn back little by little every day. So no telling what tomorrow's going to show,
Oh, I totally agree with that. I kind of think we're already in 4D.
I agree. Thoughts are manifesting quicker than ever.
Yeah,
I caught a
even
glimpse.
5.
Maybe we'll all be at James' party, tonight.
Yeah.
Well, I will contend that we are actually drawing it in instead of it getting revealed. We are drawing it in, making it closer to us, the veil.
I kind of agree with what Imelda's saying on YouTube, that Hollywood is part of the deep state. I think a big part of, I wouldn't say all of them. I think some were trapped into it. Some are voluntarily jumping into it because they signed that contract and they said they'll basically do anything, sold their souls. But yeah,
100%.
I would think that anyone that's an A-lister is probably screwed. Honestly, I hate to say that, but
the way I look at it, the whole system,
in more ways than one.
The whole system, the entertainment, all everything. Like if you look at the Bible, Jesus was out in the wilderness for 40 days, and in the Bible, it says the devil tempted him, right? And he said, if you bow down and worship me, I will give you all this. And that's because it's all his right now. This earth, this 3D earth, it's all given over to that. And so yeah, anything that's pushed, whether it's through food, movies, inoculations, the government, it's all tainted by that force, that evil, that whatever is keeping us here.
Ultimately, though, if you take it a little bit deeper, okay, so what if Hollywood is intentionally doing this stuff to, to against humanity? We'll put it that way. The pedophilia and crap like that. So, is that perhaps, are they doing that to trigger us? Did they volunteer to do that to trigger us? Perhaps to look at some of the deeper stuff that we've got within ourselves, that we need to look at. And as I've always mentioned, I think that, when you look at perhaps people that are child abusers, which is the worst thing you could possibly do to anybody. I think that's one of the worst things ever you can do, is abuse a child. But what if that child was the abuser in a previous lifetime and they had to come back and to see what it was like to be on the other side? It just gives you a different perspective. I know that when I was a kid, my parents hit me with a strap. And I remember my dad went to go hit me one time, and I tried to escape, and it came across my back diagonally. And but I think it was like third or fourth period. I went into the men's room and looked at my back, and I still had a mark on there. So I ended up skipping gym because I was embarrassed. But this back in the 60s, it was legal to do that, and I probably deserved it. But
No,
I
you
swore that was
didn't.
the day I swore if I ever have a child, I will never spank him or her. And my daughter's 25, never spanked her. But it's the lessons we learn. Sometimes we have to learn those lessons at a young age. And that's maybe some of the lessons that they're teaching as well. These people that are in higher positions that we don't necessarily agree with. Maybe there's parts of ourselves that we don't necessarily agree with. And maybe everyone will join in at the end. I don't know. No one really knows the answer, honestly, one way or the other.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to get pissed off and trigger more of an awakening. I think everybody finding out the secrets of the pedophilia, we're gonna start something, like we're gonna trigger something with I don't know, anger, love, something. But I think it's like a part of the great human awakening, us finding out. Like Justin Bieber told recently about pedophiles. He gave up some secret he saw. But yeah, I think we are definitely supposed to get mad about this.
Then he had that dumb song and made references to pizza in it.
Yeah, because he's I don't know, he's probably a clone or mind programmed or getting still paid to do the black magic. Who knows? I don't know. Or he got in trouble for saying something and they killed him and gave us a clone. I don't know.
Makes you wonder about the whole clone thing. When you look at like Angela Merkel in Germany, when she was having those breaking down, she was coughing and shaking, and made you wonder, if she was a clone and how many clones
I
are
saw
out
a
there.
video of somebody. The guy, he was a
They-
political guy. His face started changing and he did the rest of the interview like this. And he was actually still talking, doing an interview, covering his face. And I'm like, how does he not think we're going to notice or care that he's covering his face now after his mask?
Do you know who that
started
was?
falling
I
off?
haven't seen that.
I don't remember who it was. And it was back in like 2015. And it was
Can that
really weird. It was,
So he was
Oh.
shape shifting.
yeah, he looked like, I don't know. I couldn't, like, I guess he was covering it, but his
Who, Mark
face
Zuckerberg?
changed a
I'm
little
kidding.
bit. Like it's just like
Data.
he
That's
got
data from
scaly a
Star
little
Trek.
bit.
You
It got a
guys,
little
that was
dark.
Father Bush.
Hi.
That was Father Bush. That was
Was it? I think it was
Bush
him. I
Senior.
think it was
Yes,
him.
it was. It was. I'm sorry,
So
my
you guys
camera's
look
off.
it up then. Yeah.
It was
him.
absolutely him. I was over here on the other
I
side of the
thought it
room and
might
I'm
be
hollering,
him,
but you
but
couldn't
I
hear
didn't want
me.
to say it if it wasn't true. But I thought it might be him, and it was weird. Yeah.
Well, Senior Bush is implicated in JFK's assassination. I'm just going to say.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I have too, and it rings true to me. He definitely was in on that shit. I think there's even one of those videos. There's even a person that looks really like him back in the day. I really like him. So he was there, and he was in the CIA at that time. So yeah.
And his
It was a
father,
CIA
Prescott Bush, helped start the
job.
CIA.
Yeah, he was. His father also was arrested for funding both sides of World War II.
Yep.
Of course, we never learned that in school because of our indoctrination systems. Had we learned that, neither Bush would have been elected president.
Right.
And remember, George Daddy Bush was one of the very few people when he was asked, "Where were you on the day that Kennedy was assassinated?"
Yeah,
He
doesn't
said,
remember.
"I don't remember."
Yeah. He is the only person that doesn't remember, because I damn sure remember. And I was only 9.
I think I was 3. I don't remember. I was 3.
Okay, we'll
That
give
was
you
in
a break. You were 3.
I didn't do it.
I was
Anyway,
6, and I remember
wasn't alive.
seeing Lee Harvey Oswald being shot live on television is the first thing I remember actually, watching on television as a young age. So
Oh, wow.
And I remember how upset I was because all of the television channels started playing funeral music and they didn't have any of my afternoon cartoons on, which upset me. So that's being a kid, you know?
What would that be back then? Underdog?
Probably Underdog and Looney Tunes, of course. Looney
Right,
Tunes.
right,
You know,
right.
Bugs Bunny's my
Popeye.
hero. Yeah, Popeye.
Wow.
I just wanted to
talking
go
about
back to. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Talking about JFK, have you guys ever heard about the Project Looking Glass, which is coming out now through the QAnons, etc.?
My God, yes. This Project Looking Glass has to do with
Divergent
it's so much,
timelines.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I think it has a lot to do with the Mandela effect people are experiencing.
Definitely.
Because
Yeah, the
I think
Mandela
Terry
effect.
Cassidy
Yeah.
talk about that.
I would love Carrie Cassidy. And does
Yeah.
anybody know Edge of Wonder? Ben and Rob. If you
Yeah.
haven't watched them, they are incredible.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Isn't that great? Yes, Project Looking Glass. And that, I don't know, I came into a lot of this information back when I was a teenager and scared the living bejeebers out of me. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way they would do that to people, you know? And it maybe wasn't only Looking Glass, but MK Ultra, all that. I grew up in Vegas, you guys. Nothing you see. Nothing is as it seems. I'm just going to say that with absolute understanding that nothing that you see is as it seems. They can project holograms and change stuff even right there in your neighborhood. They can make stuff look like they want you to see it. Okay. And then they can do the same. They can do even better on TV. When they say special effects, it's way beyond that. I think the whole 9/11 thing was an entirely well orchestrated hologram and special effects projected onto the brainwashing machine or brainwashing box.
Well, according to many, a lot of people believe that because of Trump's uncle had a connection with Nikola Tesla, that somehow Trump got a hold of the Looking Glass technology, which would explain why a lot of people would, from Hillary's side, nobody thought she would lose. Maybe they didn't know that, what the outcome would be. Of course, that they didn't think she would lose, but Trump already knew the outcome.
That boy, oh boy, going down that rabbit hole, that's a pretty deep one because there's a lot to be said. She went there, they went and they said, oh, you're gonna win, don't even worry about it. Anyway, that's because they use this technology.
I hear his uncle is a time traveler.
That's what we're just talking about.
Oh yeah.
Trump might be, for all we know.
They went in and stole the technology from Tesla. When he passed, they stole all of his stuff. I've heard about this one. That they used some of his technology to create the time travel. Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, the Looking Glass technology. Apparently, people may have that. Put one and one together.
I thought it was associated with Montauk in that chair.
Well, yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, that's another part.
Yeah.
But what about remote viewing? There's so much coming out now with remote viewing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When you think about it, the military used this, and yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, the military had a special unit that did nothing but remote viewing for decades, and then the CIA took it over, and I mean, it's been something that's been used extensively by the government forever.
There's an article on N5D if you want to check it out at some point about Donald Trump possibly being a time traveler. Also about his son. Apparently, there's something going on with his son and something back in the 1800s. I don't specifically remember right now. I do have an article on that.
There's
as well.
There's a book on it.
Yeah, yeah. There's a book.
The last president, or something like that. No, it's fascinating. And again, it's so like You know, I watch a few people that talk about this Q phenomenon. On Edge of Wonder is one of them, and today they were showing all of these all these posts from this thing on wherever this is, and how like we're living these things right now. The things that Q posted about 2 years ago are occurring right now. So, you know, how do they know this stuff? How, unless there's some intricate connection and I don't care if you call it a conspiracy or not, because anytime there's a government involved, there's a conspiracy, because that's a whole group of people conspiring against the masses. Anyway, it's my opinion.
Well,
Well,
we're
that's just
heading.
negative contrast according to the law of one, you know. That's what makes us light workers shine brighter, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. And where we're heading, none of this stuff is even going to matter. You know, the way I see it with the whole Q thing and where that whole movement is heading is wonderful, because ultimately it's called the Great Awakening, and it does cover. If you look at the Q map, it does cover 5D Earth and beyond. A lot of people, though, in that movement aren't where we are just yet, but
Yeah.
that's where, you know, places like N5D and similar websites are going to be there. And people like everybody that's listening right now are going to be helpful for those people who, by the end of the year, are going to need it. I guarantee it. This planet's going to be
Yeah.
completely different by the end of the year than it is right now. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out. A lot of people's jaws will be dropping in disbelief of what is happening around them. So they're going to need everyone here. And there's going to be that transition period, I think,
Exactly,
between
yeah.
today, the end of the year, and the new Earth. There's going to be a transition period. And it's going to be a positive thing, but it's going to get shook up a little. So
It's going to
in
be
the meanwhile,
both.
what's that?
Because here's what I've already discovered since I made that prediction about October. So far, there's this guy called Salvador Playas, I believe is his name. And he's released two patents that he has. One is on this rectangular anti-grav ship, and the other is on this fusion, cold fusion. I don't know what his energy source is, but it's having to do with fusion. And the second thing that I came across was a revelation about a Pindar. And if you don't know what a Pindar is, this is like the head of a really large cabal kind of organization. So, I mean, there's some sick stuff that's still going on this planet. I mean, cannibalism, pedophiles.
Is that really what we want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, this is not going to be in 5D Earth. This can't be. I can't see that happening.
Exactly.
So, I mean, but that stuff is being revealed. They're talking about it. It's out there. All of this stuff is coming out, and it's going to be the good with the bad. It's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I think that what separates a lot of these communities, because you have like the truth seekers and the spiritual seekers, and a lot of people just can't handle how dark this planet has been. So it's quite hard to bring them together, actually.
Yeah,
I think that's
I
why
know.
they start revealing it slowly. So
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
that's true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I recently did had a what I'll call automatic writing with Saint Germain, and it talked about the ascension process, and it's mostly I mean, he concedes that there's some bad things, but we have to maintain our positivity and be in gratitude, forgiving, and kind. I mean, and loving. You know, these are the things he was talking about. I mean, you can read about it in my blog, philchris58.com. But yeah, we can make this happen. We have that power. We are these co-creators. This tribe here is part of that. I'm pretty damn sure. That's why I'm here. And yeah, you know, we can't let this negative stuff hold us down. And it did. I mean, when I saw that video and they talked about all of that stuff, it lowered my vibration for like a half a day. It was rough.
It's tough going in and out of 3D and 5D. You're putting those positive thoughts and intentions out there, but yet there's still this 3D world that's revolving, and you're inevitably going to get caught up in some part of it, whether you're, you know, at an airport and they're putting CNN on or whatever, you know, it affects your vibration.
It does.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
sure.
certainly.
Right. Well,
I've been
I
lucky
mean, I think
enough-
I'm gonna have to get a lot of this because with great healing power comes a lot of you get presented with a lot of negative stuff that you got to try to heal. It's not. I've healed most of my shadow. Now I'm working on the mass shadow. So it's going to be a tough couple of years for me, I think, just because I'm going to get presented a lot of this crap. I mean, so
If
far.
I didn't have the Shanghai bracelet on me to wear protection, the energy is so intense. I didn't know how to function. It's just so wobbly.
Yeah, I use Shine Guide a lot. I have it in my water bottle here. I put it in my pyramids. We've got some all around here. Yeah, it's a good stuff to have.
Even though I stay at home and I took it off for a week, I noticed a big difference, big shift in the energies. So,
Well, family, I'm
Where
going
do
to
you
leave
get
it
one of
off
these?
right there. We're
what
going
is
to
this
call
called?
it. We're going to end it right here because we've been on almost like 3 hours again. You know,
Wow.
already?
I know it goes by so quickly, and you know, I try to keep these to you know, semi-viewable times, but we get caught up, and I love the conversation, and I love giving everyone the chance to talk as well. So, I appreciate
Thank you.
everyone who's joined in both on YouTube and here on Zoom. Chances are I'll probably have another one tomorrow. I don't know what the topic is, and I don't know when I'll be posting about it, but stay tuned. Make sure that you check that out. Check me out on Facebook or Twitter or Patreon. Also check out in5d.net for these cool t-shirts. And I want to thank everyone for joining in, like I said, and contributing and having your voice heard, and sharing your stories with everyone. This is what it's all about, you know, us all contributing to making this an amazing show. So I want to thank everyone for that. And hopefully
Can I have a last question, open question?
Okay.
It's, I feel really we have a high vibe here. And I would have an open question like, have anybody sensed, felt, like kind of a healing? I have been trying to heal the collective in the Scorpio area.
Will do.
That's, yeah, lower back.
I know for myself that I these past few nights that I've taken part, I generally suffer from a lot of anxiety, but I look forward to this, and it kind of goes away while we're talking. So I think it might have helped, man.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I think the Schumann resonance also would be reacting in response to that as well. You know, showing that there is something collectively that's going on a much larger level.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna admit something here. I put this whole group in a Reiki district. Everybody that's watching, everything. I wanted this to be the most healing thing that happened here.
Awesome.
So
Thank
much
you.
healing and much love to you all.
Yeah.
Namaste, and
Yes.
thank you, Greg.
Thanks,
you very
Bill.
much, from the heart.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, and I appreciate
thank
everybody
you.
joining in. Thank you once again. And until the next time, I'm sending you all infinite love and light. So namaste,
Wholeness.
everyone.
Thank you to you
Namaste.
too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I love
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Bye.
you.
Love you all.
Peace and love. Far hugs to everybody.